come into our house of hope and love, of peace and justice, of wholeness and healing. Come in where we welcome the certain and the seeking, the long-timers and the newcomers, the beloved and the brokenhearted. All of you can find a home here at Throop, where we go love the world from the heart of Pasadena and from the heart of our homes. We're always so delighted to welcome our friends on live stream. Today, we continue our monthly theme of generosity of spirit, with a focus on how a generosity of building bridges can help us strengthen our democracy and give us stability in tenuous times. If you are new to Throop, we always love to stay in touch with you, and we ask you to fill out an info card that you can find there in the pew back in front of you. And this morning, I am extra special glad to welcome back into Throop one of our longtime Throop members, Seven, who's coming down the aisle there. And some of you may not have seen Seven for a while. And as Seven comes back into our community, Seven has come out as transgender in the past year, and the pronouns are they and them. And so please note that when you're welcoming Seven, during welcoming each other or after the service. And Seven, we are so glad that you are here and that we get to help embrace your whole and holy and beautiful self. Welcome to each one of you to Throop. And each one of us is a light in the world, and the flame from our chalice symbolizes and reflects that light.
Our time together in worship is ultimately connected with our daily lives. As a symbol of that connection, we light our chalice with a flame from our candle of hope and witness. Sometimes belonging to church starts with an I. I am looking for a place to belong. I need to find meaning. I need a safe place to land. Soon, the I becomes a you. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. You offer a hand and I take it. You invite me to help, and I say yes. Before long, the I and the you become a we. We sing these hymns in harmony. We steward this beautiful historic church. We go out and love the world, making a greater something together. We light a second candle to honor the people and the ancestors whose lands we now occupy. The land under and around Throop is the unceded land of the Gabrielino Tongva Band of Mission Indian people. May this knowledge and awareness lead us into dismantling systems of supremacies and oppressions. We light a third candle, symbolizing our watershed, the Arroyo Seco. May their waters continue to nourish life in our communities. We take a moment of silence, holding all of these in our hearts.
Thank you, Teresa. And as we continue to gather in this morning, our opening hymn is number 1054, Let This Be a House of Peace. And I invite you all to rise and sing together as body and spirit allow, number 1054 in the teal hymnal.
Let this be a house of peace, of nature this be our house of peace. Let this be a house of freedom, guardian of dignity and worth held deep inside us. Let this be our house, a platform for the free voice, where all our sacred differences here shall not divide us. Let this be our house of peace. Would you please turn and greet each other this morning? Let all in this house seek truth, where scientists and mystics abide with reverence here. Let this be our house, a house of our creation, where works of art and melodies consecrate the atmosphere. Let this be our house of peace. Let this be a house of prophecy. May vision for our children be our common theme. Let this be our house of myth and lore and legend, a trove of ancient story and cradle of our tender dreams. Let this be our house of peace. Let this be our house of peace. Let this be our house of peace.
do what we can to ensure that this sacred place is a house of peace for all who enter. Last Sunday, we created this lovely representation here, and the children created their own lovely representation that's at the back of the sanctuary of all the gifts that we want to share at Throop. You chose a dried flower or a dried herb from our Throop Learning Garden to symbolize the gift you plan to share. Your generosity of spirit is evident in these frames. Each of you contributes in your way a piece of the whole that is our Throop community life. The wild abundance of our Throop Learning Garden reflects the equally wild abundance that each of you share. We reflect now on the gifts of the Spirit and the gifts of our earth as we say together our promise to our planet. As members of the family of living beings on earth, we are guided by the Unitarian Universalist principle of respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part, with hearts filled with love for it, eyes nurtured by its beauty, and minds ruminating on ways to protect its sacred and scarce resources. We promise to nurture the well-being of all life and of the planet itself. And today's responsive reading is from the book Infectious Generosity by Chris Anderson. And the congregation's response is, we lean into generosity shared by the heart. We lean into generosity shared by the heart. Every human has the potential to give. The urge to do this is built deep within us, and it can be stirred just by our being open to the needs of others. We lean into generosity shared by the heart. When we share our time, our money, our creativity, those acts can spark responses in kind. So once it gets started, generosity can spread like wildfire. We lean into generosity shared by the heart. As it passes from one person to the next, many lives can be touched, and our collective witnessing of what humans are capable of can overcome today's prevailing cynicism, bringing people together in common cause. We lean into generosity shared by the heart. Last week in worship, like I lifted up, people here reflected on what personal gift they felt ready and willing to share with Throop in the coming months. And to symbolize that gift, they placed a dried flower or herb on these pieces of contact paper. And we made our very own type of stained glass window out of it. This window reflects the sacred light that is within each of you. You all contribute so much of your time and talent and treasure to this place, and you are what makes Throop the spiritual and religious home that we all love to be a part of. Today, we are going to learn about one special way that one Throoper is sharing their gifts with us, and I've invited Ripley to come up to the chancel and share with us all the gift of a contemplative garden that they have been doing as part of a Girl Scout project. Ripley, first of all, thank you for being willing to be interviewed today. It's not always easy coming up to the chancel and speaking in front of a group of people, but of course you come up here with just your poise and confidence that is so Ripley. And so will you tell us about the project that you started on the patio?
So most of you've been out there, the bigger part on the left side in the back corner. It was kind of just a little chaotic in a very beautiful and natural way, but I felt like it was being underused, and I wanted the kids to be able to be out there and not have to worry about harming the plants, but to be able to connect with nature and sit and have a place to contemplate, and we can do more lessons out there. I know we already have garden lessons, but I wanted to be able to utilize it more. So we started making a plan with Laramie, and right now there are some plants planted. We're gonna do more, and that's kind of.
So I want to go back just a little bit. You say that space was a little, I think you used the word chaotic in a beautiful way. And I'm curious if you had seen examples of contemplative gardens in other places that sparked that idea for you.
Well, the Arboretum has a really nice. We had this idea. My mom and I have been working on this together. And they have these boulders with these beautiful quotes carved into them, and they have so many good places to just sit and be in nature, and that was definitely a big inspiration for that, and places like that. Even other parts of the garden.
I love the boulders out there, and they got installed maybe a week and a half ago. And when I came into Throop one day last week, we have a preschool next door, and the preschool children were doing a program on our back patio, and guess who was sitting on the boulders? Yes, the preschool children.
That's
They were
great.
already really enjoying it.
Good.
Yeah. And so this is a church community, and even though a lot of us have really good and exciting ideas, we don't necessarily encourage people to just go for it on their own. I'm looking at Maureen and Hans. They're on the board of trustees in Harlow. And so I'm curious, what kind of process did you go through in order to take your idea from idea into the reality that we have now?
Well, definitely talking about how are we going to get this done without affecting events and church and stuff like that, and what plants are functional for. They look nice to a certain extent, and they're not going to be really hard to maintain. They're not going to take up giant amounts of space, and they're utilized in a way. So we have some native plants, and some plants that need less water once they're developed, and stuff like that. It was definitely kind of slightly slow at the beginning. You had to talk a lot and plan things out, ask people, stuff like that.
Slow in the beginning, had to talk things out, had to get some okays along the way. That sounds like church. A lot of time we say things happen at the speed of church, which means slow. But slow because we want as many people as possible to be on board and feel like that they are part of the project. And so now that the plants have been installed, can you say a little bit more about your hopes and visions for how that contemplative garden will get used?
Well, I want to write 5 or 6 lessons for the garden program for the kids that will be used every year in maybe different ways. One of them is going to be like a pebble meditation. I'm taking a class with dyes and natural dyes. I want to do something like that with them, and I want to make sure that it's a continuous thing that can be maintained even if I'm not always here to take care of it.
I love that. You're planning for the future and for ways to hand it off to other people. So even though the idea originated in you, that it won't always just sit with you, that it's something that's really owned and loved by the whole congregation. And having a workshop on natural dyes, I think we may lose some of our adult worshipers that day. We might lose the pastor that day too. I might want to go out on the patio and learn how to use natural dyes. And then one thing we talk about at Throop is time and talent and also treasure. And so I'm curious if you can just say a little bit about how you funded it.
Well, that was mostly cookie money from me selling Girl Scout cookies over the last couple of years. I had some donations from friends and family, and that was pretty much all of it. Laramie was very generous. He got us a lot of things at very good prices, and he donated some things. So it was kind of just fundraising from Girl Scouts, and Girl Scouts also gave us some money for that too. So
That's
yeah.
amazing. So it really was just like this big collective project, and now we all get to enjoy it. Is there, no, I'm putting you on the spot now. I'm just wondering if after the service, if people, it's just on the back patio, you can, of course, go and enjoy it. But is there any chance that you might be able to kind of point out some of the special plants and the different properties that they have and why you chose them for the garden?
I'll be happy to do that. My mom might have to help me. She's
And
definitely
Rachel
knows
helped
a
too,
little
yeah.
more about plants than I do.
I definitely saw the Ryan family out there on many occasions. Do you have any idea how many hours you put into the project?
I've been trying to keep track of it, but I don't know. I don't have it like in my head. I think I have a required amount because this is for my silver award for Girl Scouts, and I believe the required amount 50.
50 hours. Wow.
I think we're around like 36 now, if I'm guessing, like around there.
Around 36 hours that you put into this. Ripley, that is truly amazing. And as Ripley just said, they are getting their Girl Scout Silver Award, which is a really big achievement and something to be proud of. And I think we as a church feel really proud that we get to be a part of it. Thank you so much, and thank Ripley for all of this amazing work. And each Sunday we sing our children into their program. And today I would like to thank Christy and Faith for leading. I think they're going to do something around cardboard, paper, Easter eggs. Yeah, decorating those and making them. And, a heads up, Easter Sunday is 2 weeks from today. And we'll be having an Easter egg hunt that day and mimosas of all kinds for the adults on Easter Sunday. So we now sing the children into their program. Those words are in the order of worship.
For you shall go out in joy, for you shall go out in joy, and come back in peace, and come back in peace. For you shall go out in joy, for you shall go out in joy, and come back in peace, and come back in peace. Blessed be.
And this morning we have another trooper sharing of their time and talent. Ian will offer an original poem for the congregation for our pondering moment.
So this Obad is entitled Obad. The forest birds song out of the dark. Light flushes, blood rose across the 1,000 granite peaks, beings of more than geologic space. From the clearing, a white-tailed deer turns back into the pine forest, her long gaze left behind. The turquoise pool of the lake around our feet, white sand, a movable beach. Overhead, a red-tailed hawk circles, dives, trout writhing, a bloodied incision on the morning. Mist comes up, drifts in a faint wind across the blue-green lake, resolving itself into nothing. My arm over your shoulder, we sit at the edge of our own shoreline, alert in the long silence of this rising flux of morning waters and mountains that seem ready to move.
perfect trees, and make us happy in the darting bird that suddenly above the bees is heard, the meteor that thrusts in with needle bill, and of a blossom in mid-air stands still. For this is love, and nothing else is love, the which it is reserved for God above to sanctify, to what far ends they will, but which it only needs that we fulfill.
This month, we have invited a few Throop people to share with the congregation why they have chosen to contribute their time and talent and treasure to Throop and to make an annual pledge. And today, I'm so glad to introduce Matthew Reed and a generosity moment.
Good morning. As many of you all know, my name is Matthew Reed. I started coming to Throop a little over a year ago. I had just moved to LA, I was searching for community, and I had started to question my own spiritual beliefs. I had heard of Unitarian Universalism, but had never been to one. So when I Googled UU churches, I won't lie when I say I came here because it was closer. What I found was exactly the kind of community I was looking for, from our very own lovely choir, who always found new ways to encourage me, the hilarious chaos that is Throop players, and the incredible wisdom we share every week. And most of all, to those of you I call my friends. It was hard not to fall in love. You all have been nothing but welcoming, and I wish I had time to thank you all by name, but I feel that would take too long. You all have shown me that the more I put in, the more I get out. It has been an honor to sing for you all, and perform for you all, and to engage with you all. That is why my pledge is so important to me. This church has shown me nothing but love, and I wish to help it in whatever way I can, and to ensure that we can continue to show our love to others. I felt it important not just to contribute with my time, but with my finances, so we can keep up with our lovely selves. Keep on being who you are, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Thank you, Matthew, for all the ways you show your heartfelt support of Throop. And because of you and because of all of you, we are growing together in our faith, in our sense of belonging, and in our impact with the wider world. This church is our church, and we support it in so many different ways. Today, at this time in worship, you have an opportunity to offer a financial gift in support of our ministries. If you would like to give online, the ways to do that are in the order of worship. You can offer a gift here in the room. And if you would like your financial gift to be noted toward your pledge, please use a green envelope and write your name on it. If you're a first-time visitor, please let the offering plate pass you by. The morning offering will now be gratefully received.
When you're down and troubled and you need some love and care, and nothing is going right, close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest nights. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. You've got a friend. If the sky above you grows dark and full of clouds, and that old north wind should begin to blow, keep your head together and call my name out loud. Soon you'll hear me knocking upon your door. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. Ain't it good to know that you've got a friend? When people can be so cold, they'll hurt you and desert you. They'll take your soul if you let them, but don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. You've got a friend.
In a spirit of gratitude, we lift up all those supporting the worship service today. Malcolm, we are so glad to have you back with us this Sunday. Choir, thank you for your gifts of song. Clara, thank you for running the live stream this morning, and Taryn for apprenticing Clara into that role. I love watching this team from the pulpit. Thank you to Teresa for being our greeter, as well as offering the chalice lighting words. Thank you, Cynthia, for taking the offering, Ripley for letting me interview you, and for your amazing project that you're offering, to Faith and Christy for running the children's program, Ian for blessing us with your beautiful poetry, Matthew for inspiring us with your generosity moment, Tom for nourishing us with coffee and conversation after the worship service, and Fillory for all of your administrative support. So as we take a moment and pause in gratitude for these gifts and all the ways we use our resources in the wider world, we share together the response to the offering that's in the order of worship. For the ministries of the church and our community, we bless our offering with love and hope. And as we're thinking about gifts of generosity, about ways we are connected and hold one another, We join together in our centering hymn, number 18, What Wondrous Love.
What wondrous love is this, oh my soul, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul. When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down beneath my sorrow's ground, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul. To love and to all friends I will sing, I will sing. To love and to all friends I will sing. To love and to all friends who pain and sorrow mend, with thanks unto the end I will sing, I will sing. With thanks unto the end I will sing.
Breathing into that sense of gratitude and thanks, we inhale together. Exhaling any pain and sorrow that has lodged itself in our hearts over the last few days. We take a breath in together, grateful for this community that nourishes us. Breathing out feelings of uncertainty or trouble. Breath of life and breath of love, we ask that our hearts be open in a sense of wonder and acceptance for the wondrous love we receive from our earth and all that we understand as sacred, and from one another. We ask that our hearts be open to ourselves and to other people here in this room and to the wider world beyond this campus. There are so many needs and hurts and wants, and at times it can feel like too much and too overwhelming. And sometimes we have a natural inclination to want to hide away from all of it. And we ask that we do what we need to do to tend to our emotional and spiritual selves, that we not let our hearts and minds become too battered and too weary, that we intentionally look for places of beauty and hope and help in the world. And when we see them, to let that sustain us and inspire us and keep us moving forward. As we breathe into a few moments of stillness, holding this space for ourselves and holding this space for one another, I invite you all to think back on the past week and identify those moments where you saw or experienced help and assistance and love out in the world. May we remember that we are held by a wondrous love, and for all that is our life, we give our thanks and praise. Amen.
When I am frightened, will you reassure me? When I'm uncertain, will you hold my hand? Will you be strong for me? Sing to me quietly. Will you share some of your stories with me? If you will show me compassion, then I may learn to care as you do. Then I may learn to care. When I am angry, will you still embrace me? When I am thoughtless, will you understand? Will you believe in me? Stand by me willingly. Will you share some of your questions with me? If you will show me acceptance, then I may learn to give as you do. Then I may learn to give. When I am troubled, will you listen to me? When I am lonely, will you be my friend? Will you be there for me? Comfort me tenderly. Will you share some of your feelings with me? If you will show me commitment, then I may learn to love as you do. Then I may learn to love.
Recently, I saw a play that featured two people who were so frightened, so uncertain, so troubled that a huge divide opened up between them, and they could not figure out a way to reach their hands across it. The play is Fatherland, and it's at the Fountain Theater in East Hollywood. Have any of you been to see it? If you can go, I highly recommend it. I could not look away from the stage. The script is based on a true story. A young adult son who testifies against his father because his father had been part of the January 6th riot at the Capitol. And the story explores broken relationships between family members and broken relationships with what people thought were broken promises from the government. And it was hard to watch. The dialogue is taken from actual courtroom dialogue. It was hard to hear, and it felt really important to watch it. The story reflects the tenuous times that so many of us feel like we're in today. In the play, the son and the father sit on opposite shorelines, both of them brokenhearted, both locating the cause of that brokenheartedness in two completely different places. The son believes his father's actions betrayed a trust in democracy, that participating in a riot at the Capitol put not just individual people, but our collective well-being in peril. And the father believes that all those people in Washington, they're not even real people anymore, and they betrayed a trust in working people and put individual well-being at risk. We see these opposing views of what is happening in the world. We see it all around us. It's reflected everywhere. The front page of the New York Times or the LA Times, it's reflected in social media. For some of us, it's reflected in our own families. And we sit at the edge of our own shorelines. And we wait and we watch while our climate worsens. Laws are passed that restrict essential reproductive health care. And we have this fall election cycle that is looming. It is looming, and there is a potential outcome that I worry will threaten our democracy and point us toward fascism. And you all share with me that you're concerned about so much. You're concerned about the war in the Middle East, rising cost of food, housing prices that become more unattainable, and family members that are on the opposite end of the political spectrum than you are. And we wonder, where's all this going to end? And will we ever find a place of civil discourse? We just wonder, are we and our earth going to be okay? This month, we're considering the role of generosity in our spiritual lives. Generosity of our time and our money and our creativity. And it can be so hard to feel generous when we are stressed and scared and anxious. Stressed and scared and anxious feelings, they make us want to go inward and squeeze really hard and clutch at anything we deem as ours as a way to protect ourselves. When we are stressed and scared and anxious, it creates this feeling that there's not enough to go around. There's not enough of me to go around. There's not enough of what I claim as my own to go around. And it starts to create a sense of me rather than a sense of we. Tension about the state of the world can lead us into our own broken-hearted state. It's like we want to draw the curtains against the needs of the world and go inward, but inward in ways that can be unhealthy rather than life-affirming. And believe me, I know that there are times that all you want to do is just pull the covers up over your head and shut out the rest of the world. I know that because I feel that way sometimes too. The world feels like it's too much and too hard, and if you have days where all you feel like you can do is just pull those covers up, then you have my permission to have that hour or that day. But as Unitarian Universalists, we don't get to stay underneath the covers, no matter how comfy and cozy and warm they feel. We're called to respond to the world and to participate in supporting a democratic society with a generosity of spirit. I will always lovingly urge you to pull those covers back. We are called into this together, not alone, and in a way that heals broken connections. Terry Tempest Williams wrote about the link between the human heart and democracy. She wrote, "The human heart is the first home of democracy. It is where we embrace our questions. Can we be equitable? Can we be generous? Can we listen with our whole beings, not just with our minds, and offer our attention rather than our opinions? And do we have enough resolve in our hearts to act courageously, relentlessly, without giving up ever, trusting our fellow citizens to join with us in a determined pursuit of a living democracy?" Our determined pursuit of a living democracy. We are called to heal the brokenness in the world. You are called to heal that brokenness. And we do that by leaning on what you and I already know how to do. By being the church out in the world, and by that I mean leading with our hearts, by showing up, being generous with our attention, bringing people together in common cause. Ripley offered us a microcosm of that in a church community with the way Ripley went about her contemplative garden project. In a world that at times seems so tenuous, when we hear accounts of people being demonized and dehumanized, it's more important than ever that we are out in the world proclaiming values that support the flourishing of all life and of each person. James Luther Adams, a 20th century Unitarian theologian, held a conviction that voluntary associations, places like progressive congregations, were absolutely vital in a democratic society. He said they are vital because we gather here for spiritual well-being of the individual, yes, and we gather here as a way to direct our collective energies towards something better, to promote social, political, and economic change in the wider world, that we are about creating a heaven here on earth. And each one of you does that in your own way. We see that represented in these collections that you created last Sunday, the flowers and herbs that symbolize your individual gifts. But of course, collectively, they make these beautiful pieces of art. And they made it out of these pieces of our Throop Learning Garden that in its own way represents a healthy democracy. In our garden, there are so many species of plant life, plus insects and butterflies and birds and urban wildlife. And our learning garden thrives on all of that diversity that's at the heart of any permaculture garden. The multiplicity of life out there promotes creativity, adaptation to change, and resilience during stress. Our shared and collective action to love the world. When we do that together, it can ease some of that stress and anxiety and sense of just being frightened that some of us carry with us today. And as we look toward the fall, our social justice team has picked one way that we are going to be able to reach our collective hands across the shorelines, and that's by engaging with a project called You the Vote, which will be encouraging people in really important voting districts to be part of democracy, to actually go out and have their voice and values heard at the polling booth. And so when you see invitations from our social justice ministry team to participate, I hope all of you will find a way to show up and to be part of that. And I hope you all find ways to show up and to share your fire of commitment to support a more beautiful world that we all dream of and know is possible. We sing into our commitment with our closing hymn, number 1028, The Fire of Commitment. And please rise and sing out as body and spirit allow.
Guiding hands
place a hand on your heart and reach a hand to someone in the room or on the live stream. Our chalice is extinguished. We carry its light with us into all we do. Remember, as you go out into the week, the love and sense of belonging you have in this place, your commitment to light a fire with all of your issues and things that you carry close to your heart. I love you all. Go out and love the world. Amen and blessed be.
Good job, choir. Ah, y'all did so good. That was a beautiful moment. Yes, I was like, I'm ready. Thanks. Hi, Praveen, good to see you. How are you? Oh no. Totally. Yes, it's like you have to just chuck them. Absolutely. Oh my goodness, yeah, no worries. And I was gone last week too. I was out of town with my other choir, so I've been gone too. Yeah. Oh, isn't it so beautiful? Yeah. It's so fun, and it's just like it almost like I